Hello all and welcome. Thank you for joining me. I thought that since it's officially summer 2023 that I would make a beach scene card. And this card is made with the Seaside Bay stamp set and dies. And this stamp set is a distinctive stamp set. The stamps in here are distinctive stamps, and the way that Stampin' Up describes distinctive stamps is that when you ink up your stamp and then stamp it, you get what they call different opacities, meaning you're going to get light and dark areas on your stamped image with just using your ink pad. Sometimes it's not, you don't need to do any two-step stamping. So some of the other stamp sets that are not distinctive, the two-step stamping stamps are not distinctive stamps, and you have to stamp them, as the name says, in two steps with two different stamps in order to achieve what you can achieve with distinctive stamps. Now let me show you in the catalog. There's a little icon next to each stamp set that is a distinctive stamp set. So this one is distinctive, and the Scenic Wonders is also. Some other ones, as you'll see, are not. There are some other icons. This one, for example, if you see that image, it just means that the dies are compatible with the mini. But in the front of the catalog, on page 3, here's a listing of all the catalog icons, so that as you go through the catalog, on the bottom of each one, you'll be able to identify what does that icon mean. So in this case, where it has a big N next to it, it means it's a new product. If you see a little clock next to it, it means it's quick and easy. And it's a quick and easy project and perfect for making multiples. A mini icon means, as I just said, it will work with your mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So you can use it to do not just your die cutting, but your embossing. Here's the distinctive icon, which says distinctive stamps create different opacities in a single stamped image. That's what I love about it. If you see the icon of two little flowers, it means that those are reversible. You can flip the stamp over and use the back side. They're specialized photopolymer stamps with images on both sides. Don't know if you knew that. This icon, which says 1,000,000, means that those stamp sets were created with Stampin' Up, along with demonstrators who each reached the 1 million sales milestone, and that they were given the chance to help develop a product. And then this icon down here, which means English, Spanish, and French, means that products marked with that icon are available in English, Spanish, and French. So when you're ordering, you would need to identify which one you would want. So I'm just bringing that to your attention in case it's not something that you already knew. So we're going to use the distinctive stamp to do the plover. And plovers are all over the beach areas. I live in Massachusetts, in Lynn, about 12 miles north of Boston, and I live right on the coast. The beach is about 5 minutes away from me. Occasionally we see plovers on our beach. Down on Cape Cod, they're all over the place. So we're going to use the plover. For the designer series paper, I'm going to use this beautiful paper from the, let's see, Earthen Elegance. You would not expect it. So I'm not a big fan of this paper on the back side, or maybe it's the front side. But if you like papers that are brown. So I'll show you this. I'm not a fan of this, you know, sort of earthy tones, I guess is what you would call it, earth tones. I have a friend who loves earth tones. She's all about it. So this is what those, this particular design, I don't even know what that is. Paint dripping. I can't say that I'm a fan of that. This one's kind of neat. I could see myself making masculine cards with that. I don't see myself making anything with that. But, flip this paper over. Well, again, that side doesn't throw me either, but this does. This is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. Let me see, what color is that? What colors, the coordinating colors are on the back. Oh, Pretty Peacock. That's Pretty Peacock. No wonder I love it. Gorgeous, right? I love that it has like dimension to it, patterns to it. This one I believe is Misty Moonlight. I'm loving that one. This is Moody Mauve. They're kind of interesting, kind of, you know, a herringbone sort of pattern. But this one I absolutely love. Now you can do, I've used it in this card and cut it with the white at the bottom. So this would be sand and this would be the sea and no sky. But you could do it the other way around. If we had a stamp set that had like boats in it, you could make this the sea and then that would be kind of a cloudy sky. So I think you can do it like either way, but that's what we're going to use on this one. It's gorgeous. It's, again, Pretty Peacock at the top. The back side, I'm sorry, yuck. It's just me. I apologize to anybody out there who happens to like all these earthy tones. Because that's what makes the world go around, everybody having a different idea of what they love. It's just not my thing. I'm loving this one. So that's what we're going to use. So I'm going to go ahead and so then, let's see, I'm going to use, while that is Pretty Peacock, I've already pre-cut it. I'm using a Lost Lagoon. I probably could have used just the Pretty Peacock, but we're going to cut it down here, which is more like Lost Lagoon. So we're going to use the Lost Lagoon cardstock, cutting it the typical A2 size, which is the 5.5 by 8.5, and you're going to just score it right down the middle at 4 1/4. Simple, right? And then you're going to cut 2 pieces of Very Vanilla, one for the front and then one for the inside. See the inside, I put baby plovers on the inside. 5 1/4 by 4. That's pretty simple. And then I have a little bit of a larger scrap, whatever, not even any dimension, because I want to stamp the plover and like the shell. So just another piece of Very Vanilla, just, you know, some larger scrap for that. And then you're going to need, as far as the and then just a scrap of crumb cake. Let's see, I did cut those. I die cut those already, and of course put them somewhere, and now I don't know where that, they probably went flying off the table. All right, doesn't matter. So I die cut those out of crumb cake. And let's see, let me see if I, all right, and then I'm going to color the plover with the Stampin' Up markers. I'm going to color the stamp itself. I did the this one because plovers are kind of brownish with a little bit of black around their head, and so I did this one with Pebbled Path Stampin' Up markers. But I think this time I might just for the sake of color, I might use Misty Moonlight. Now, with the Stampin' Right markers, you can color right onto the stamp itself, but do not do that with your Stampin' Blends. Do not color directly onto your stamps with Stampin' Blends. And the reason is they're alcohol markers and they will permanently stain your stamp. The Stampin' Right markers are water-based and will wipe off, and you'll be able to clean your stamps. But using the blends on your stamps, directly on your stamps, will permanently stain them. You will not be able to get the ink off of it. So be aware of that. All right, I'm going to get my paper trimmer, move these out of the way. I'm going to cut a piece of this Designer Series paper, and I'm going to cut it at, you know what, got a little tear on that. Oh, I suppose it doesn't matter. I'm going to be, all right, so I'm going to cut this at, because I'm going to do 2 layers, so I have this one at 5 1/2, right, and by 4 1/4, and then the very vanilla layer is 5 1/4 by 4. I'm going to need to cut the DSP at 5 inches by 3 3/4. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut it at 5. And let's see, so this is obviously 12 inches, so I need to, let me see, I want to cut it down to, how much of this do I want? I'm going to cut it like that, just randomly, right? Because I just need to figure out how much sand I want to show in the picture. And now I can cut it at 3 3/4. Oops. Let me line that up properly. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Because this is going to be just at the water's edge. This is not going to be out in the ocean. That's the point of it. It's just going to be a bird on the seashore. And that's what I got. Okay. Now what I want to do is, all right, I'm going to do a little bit of stamping. Oh, you know what? I'm going to get my crumb cake ink pad because, of course, I knew I would forget something. Okay. All right. So there's a, let's see, where did I put it? Here it is. And this is it's just a stamp that has, you know, some sand and then the shells. So I'm going to stamp it right along the water's edge, just to make a line of, you know, to delineate between the water and the sand. Okay. I'm just going to do 3 of them, but one of them is going to be off the paper. So it almost looks like the shells have washed up during high tide, and when the tide went back out, it left the shells on the beach, like that. So now it kind of delineates the sand, between the sand and the sea. Okay, clean my stamp, put it back in the case, and one of the other things that I want to do is, I might as well do it now. I'm going to use my Wink of Stella on the sand and probably also on the shells. For those of you who live near the beach or who get to visit the beach like I do, you will have, you know, you'll know that the sand, let me see, is that coming out? The sand sometimes has, is shimmery, and it's pretty awesome when it does that. And I'm gonna have to look up why it does that, but there's all kinds of, you know, stuff in the ocean, little bits and flotsam and jetsam, as they call it. But anyway, the sand sometimes sparkles. All right, and I'm gonna put a little bit of shimmer on the shells as well. Usually the shells don't shimmer, but sometimes they do. A couple of years ago when I was at the beach, I don't know what it was, but the beach was covered in some kind of, it also had some black, very fine sand that almost looked ashy, but it wasn't. It was sand, and it was so shimmery. It was the craziest thing. I haven't seen it for a couple of years, but when I was walking on the beach, I thought, oh my gosh, it was absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so it kind of shimmers, so I like that. All right, I'm going to move this aside and take my, let me see if I got that, yeah, take my scrap. I want to stamp the plover. All right, here's the plover. Yeah, so I'm going to use my Stampin' Right markers, as I mentioned, and I'm going to use the brush side. And when you brush it on, you want to do it from, you want to brush on the side of the Stampin' Right marker. Don't use the point, or you're going to smash the pointed end. And the same goes for your Stampin' Blends. Don't go in with the point. Always do it at an angle. So I'm going to start just go around it. And this is Misty Moonlight, if I didn't already say it. I think I did. And I'm going to leave a little space for the eye. And this is pretty easy. I mean, this is just coloring 101. All right, and then for the beak and I'm using crushed curry for the beak and the feet, the legs and the feet. Okay, and then I'm using some black to color in the eye. I don't know if it's going to stand out at all, considering that it's Misty Moonlight. Then what you want to do is you want to huff on it to kind of reconstitute it, because it can dry out. All right, let's see how that goes. Came out nice. Now, as I said, this one I did with Pebbled Path, and I think it looks nice. So this one is blue. I like it. All right, and then I want to die cut it. All right, so I'm going to move this out of the way. I'm going to bring up my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. I want to first get my plover die. Here it is. Get that out. Get my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. My plates, which Stampin' Up numbers for you. So you put in plate number 1, plate number 2. You put in one of the plate number 3s, and then you'll want to put your paper and your die. Let me get that in there. Okay, and your second plate. Give it a push until you feel it doesn't give anymore, and then run it through. Okay, and that's all it requires. That's all the die cutting we're going to do. We have our little plover. Okay, let me put my die away. All right. Bring my little card back over. Bring my card sample. So I could put it about there. And I'm going to pop it up on dimensionals. I think 3 ought to do it. You can pretty much just put them anywhere you want. That's a good spot for it. Now, let's see, I want to bring back my scrap because I want to stamp a conch. And get my block. Okay, I'm going to just stamp a conch shell like that. And there's like conch shells already on it that we stamped with the crumb cake ink. And this one is, I did it in Night of Navy. And there is, let's see. Oh yeah, there is a die for this. But honestly, I'm just going to give it a quick fussy cut. If you hate fussy cutting, just run it through your Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine with the coordinating die. And when you're fussy cutting, you just turn the paper rather than the scissors. So you just keep turning the paper. There you go. That's as long as it took, right? So it's so fast. I'm going to use a mini Stampin' Dimensional. I'll probably use 2. And I'm going to make it look like I did on this one. The birds sometimes pick the shells up and then they drop them on the ground really hard. They smash it to try to break it, and also to get the mollusk that's on the inside to come out so they can eat it. So I'm going to make it look like that's what the bird's doing, smashing the shell to get whatever is inside of it for a meal. Now, I did, as I said earlier, I did die cut 2 pieces, which I'm sure I'm going to find probably on the floor somewhere. So I'll tell you what, I did it here. You can see what I did. You can do that as well. I'm going to leave that out of my second card while I'm making it, and I will probably attach it later. All right, so let's see, what else did I do on this? So I'm going to do now I made this into a sympathy card. The sentiments excuse me, for Seaside Bay are there's only 3, and I decided to do the sympathy instead of thank you for everything. So but I think this time I might use the thank you for everything. All right, let's see, I have thank you for everything up here. Again, I'm going to use Knight of Navy. Let me make sure that's on. Okay. And I've pre-measured this to be 5 inches by 3/4. I should have mentioned that. All right, and I'm just going to stamp it kind of to the left as I did with this one. That's nice. All right, let me close up my ink pad. And I am going to tack down, it's going to be a little bit above the bottom. I'm going to use some liquid glue, or you can use some Stampin' Seal or your adhesive of choice. And gem dots. So the gem dots I'm using are the Tinsel Gems 3-pack, which is Lagoon, Misty Moonlight, Fresh Freesia, Lagoon. This doesn't look like Lagoon at all, but I'm going to use Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to put 3 in a row. Oops. Need to line that up better. There we go. Three. That's perfect. Now I want to adhere it to my very vanilla layer. Which is that layer, as I said, is 5 1/4 by 4. So the Designer Series paper layer is 5 by 3 3/4. And now I want to, let me burnish that with my bone folder first, because I want to make sure that it's lined up. And if you're not sure that it's lined up properly, just line it up and then burnish it, and that's perfect. Okay, now I'm not using any ribbon. No need to use ribbon for a beach card. Okay. Lovely, right? The only thing missing is the little shells. but even without them, I think it looks just lovely. All right, so let's just do on the inside. I'm going to get my other piece of 5 1/4 by 4 very vanilla. I'm going to take the little baby plovers. Oh, actually, you know what? I want to do before I put the plovers on, I want to do some sand. And I'm going to get my crumb cake ink pad. And I'm going to put a strip of sand going kind of part way across. And going down kind of like that. All right, now I can bring my plovers in, my baby plovers, and I'm going to use the same crumb cake ink pad. And I'm only going to stamp these guys once. There we go. I'm not going to put a sentiment on the inside. There's really no sentiment on with this stamp set, and I could use another stamp set, but I decided I wanted to keep the theme of just this stamp set and not bring in something else. All right, now I want to just, let me close up my ink pad. And if I measured it correctly, I'm going to just tack it down now. Lovely. Simple card, very simple, perfect for summer, as many of you, and including me. Oh, look what I found, my little shells. I'll add them later. There they are. I knew I'd find them. So people will start heading to the beach for the summer, and I thought this would be appropriate, but I wanted to also just show you you know, the distinctive stamps and how to color them. And again, don't use your Stampin' Blends, only use your Stampin' Write markers, because these are water-based, whereas the Stampin' Blends are alcohol-based and will stain your stamp, so you don't want that. So I want to just say, enjoy your summer. I hope you're able to get to the beach. If you are, you're one of the lucky ones, and you'll enjoy yourself immensely. And I hope you enjoyed the content that I brought to you today. I appreciate you coming to visit me, and please come back and visit again, and I will have more for you. I appreciate it, and have yourself a great day. Bye for now.